Premier League predictions, round 36.
Hello everybody and welcome back to Very Biased Opinions for another round of Premier League predictions. The season is nearly over and we enter into the final 3 rounds. As always, there are timestamps down in the description if you want to jump ahead to certain games, and you can also use the chapters feature on the video itself. But that is only if you want to jump ahead to certain games. What I strongly recommend is you listen to every word that we say, almost hang off every word that we say, and watch the whole video all the way through. And stay around till the end, because if you made a comment on our previous video, Tom will give you a shout out at the end. And without wasting any more time, Tom, what is the first match?
Manchester City versus Bournemouth, AFC.
Tom, Manchester City, the enigma that is, they had that bad result against Southampton, punished Newcastle for them, although I think Newcastle were very gracious and let them win because that's what the kind of a guy Steve Bruce is. And they are absolutely hammering Brighton as well. So by the way Man City's season going, that means that they're due a defeat in this game to Bournemouth. Is that right?
Yes.
Are we saying that Eddie Howe's going to get a win here?
Yes.
Oh my God. But they are still a world-class side despite these baffling results they've had all season. And I think they find out on Monday, don't they, if they've going to be in the Champions League for next season. So it's a big week ahead for them off the pitch. On the pitch, I really hate to do this because I love Bournemouth. I just think they're going to go down. Results have gone against them today, which you're going to talk about. And obviously they need to beat Leicester. We haven't seen that game yet. But Man City, I just can't back against them. I need to win predictions as well, Tom, so I can't go foolish. Man City 4-1.
Yeah, so we are, as always, having to record this on a Saturday night because the next round of matches starts on Tuesday, which is ridiculous. Seriously, the end of this Premier League season is destroying our souls. It's going so fast. There's a game every day. In the previous fixture, Man City only won 3-1. I think it's hard to look at this Bournemouth side and think that there is any way they stay up. Obviously, Watford won earlier today. It's pretty much put to paid. West Ham and Watford have jumped way ahead of them, and it would take them winning every match at the end of the season, and you just can't see it happening. I think now is the time we start talking about what happens to Bournemouth if/when they go down. Does Eddie Howe stay on?
Yeah, well, I mean, they've almost started playing well again, but a little bit too late. Like they played quite well in that Man United defeat, despite ended up the scoreline didn't show it. Played well against Spurs, could have nicked it. I know there's a dodgy penalty decision in there as well that could have gone Tottenham's way, but they played a lot more like the Bournemouth we're used to. It's just come too late for Eddie Howe's side. And yeah, also there will be starting to put into questions of what they're going to do in the Championship. Will Howe stay? What's the club going to do? I mean, you just said to me off camera that you think that if Eddie Howe leaves, that you could see Bournemouth even getting relegated twice in a row.
Yeah, and I think honestly one of the reasons they kept him on was that exact thought. Like, you can't have a manager who's built the club around himself and has been the rock that's guided them through it, and then have him leave. Like, even in the modern day of managers not having as much say and control, you can't be at a club for that long and not have that much say and control and not be leaned upon to make decisions. And we can criticize Eddie Howe in the transfer market all you like, but he's at a tiny club. Their biggest transfer was like 15 million quid, wasn't it, for Jordan Ibe? Like, when you're dealing in such small amounts of money, it's not surprising that we now look at this team and we go, there's about 4 players here that deserve to be in the Premier League. Callum Wilson and Josh King will probably be gone come the end of the season, but hopefully they can keep a hold of some of their players. I suppose Ramsdale's probably starting in goal now with the idea that he'll be starting for them in the Championship.
You'd probably assume they're going to lose Ake.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you believe the Man United rumours, you definitely think that's true.
He's a good defeat. He's too good to play in the Championship.
He's definitely too good. I mean, he's ex-Chelsea, isn't he? Isn't he Chelsea?
Yeah.
So, all that being said, because we've gone totally off topic, there's no way you can see Bournemouth winning this match, unfortunately. And I can't see them scoring a goal, personally. I think it's going to be 5-0 to City.
Burnley versus Wolverhampton Wanderers.
So Burnley are coming off a fantastic result. They managed to get a 1-1 draw out of a match against Liverpool at Anfield, and they even struck the bar with about 10 minutes left. There's a lot of questions about whether Burnley deserved it, etc. And obviously no one's happy because a club like Burnley, whenever they beat or draw a big team, have cheated, they've bamboozled the coaches, they've played negative football. Fuck off. Burnley have been awesome. They're the masters of getting a goal and not conceding. Nick Pope is an absolute genius. He's definitely on pace for the Golden Glove. He was fantastic in this game. He definitely kept them in it. Jay Rodriguez, I said it last video, I'll say it this video, I'll probably say it in the next. He's like the forgotten man in football. He just keeps scoring at whatever club he's at, and he just gives his all, and I want to see him be successful, and I want to see the Burnley side be successful. And they're coming up against a Wolves side that have been on a bad run of form. Obviously, we haven't seen Wolves versus Everton, but it is hard to look past a Burnley side that are absolutely steamrollering ahead. And as such, Ian, it is shock result time, because the Burnley Football Club will beat Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Yeah, it does look like that, doesn't it? It looks like Burnley. You fancy Burnley a little bit more than Wolves in this way, in this one, just because Wolves have gone off the boil a little bit. They had a bad result against Arsenal. Didn't play bad against Sheffield United, but it was a similar story where they didn't take their chances, and then Sheffield United took one at the end and ended up winning it. The Everton game's an interesting one. Obviously, that will take place tomorrow. It'll be interesting to see how they get on in that one. You've got them down to win. I've got them down for a draw. And I don't think they lose too many games, Wolves, and that's why I just think they might get a draw out of this one as well. Although I wouldn't be shocked if Burnley went and won it. I think it's going to be a 1-1 draw.
Chelsea versus Norwich City.
It's been on the cards for a long, long time, but finally Norwich City has confirmed relegation. Commiserations to all their fans, but you've known you're going to be in the Championship for a long, long time now. We were questioning Fark, couldn't we, during the game, because you said about how he didn't look interested. You were wondering whether he was going to be off. Maybe he might leave at the end of the season, but it doesn't appear so. He came out and spoke very strongly after the game, sort of like pledged his commitment to staying, pledged his commitment to like what they're trying to build at Norwich, which you do have to bring into question at times. I mean, were they being a little bit stubborn just by sticking to this passage of play that was not working for them? Should they not have changed it up a little bit to try and get some results to give them a better chance of staying in the league? But if they go down and come back up again, do what like Burnley have done, which we've talked about in the past on this channel, then it is a worthwhile exercise. And there is talent there. There is talent in that squad. They just need to have a little bit more experience, a little bit more nous next time they come back into the Premier League, you would think. Chelsea are a basket case. I'm sick of talking about them, so you can talk about them. And this will be the game, wouldn't it, where Norwich go and smash Chelsea, because Norwich have got nothing to play for and they take all their chances. But you have to just think Chelsea will win. Nice and easy, 2-0 Chelsea.
Yeah, so Chelsea won the corresponding fixture 3-2, and that really should tell you everything you need to know about both Chelsea and Norwich. Norwich throw themselves forward with reckless abandon, leave their centre-backs to clean up the mess, and on set pieces can't decide to mark headers. That's just who they are as a club, and it's going to take next year them starting to iron that sort of thing out. Chelsea lost 3-0 to Sheffield United today, and I think they had 76% possession. They're the first club since full-time possession stats started in 2009 to have that much possession and lose a game. And they deserve to lose it because this team just can't defend. And where in God's name did £76 million for Kepa Arrizabalaga ever come from? Like, it's an imaginary sum for an average goalkeeper. Kurt Zouma at just 6s and 7s, and you look at their back four, they've got Zuma, Rudiger, Azpilicueta, all these really like good players and players that on their own look like they should be doing well, but there is no leader in this Chelsea team. Unfortunately, their leader sat on the bench. He's got more personality than just about anyone else out there, and they really need to sign a center back that's going to like literally drag his team kicking and screaming into the future. And right now they don't have it. It means that at the back they're just conceding. They need a new goalkeeper. They need a center back. They need to stop looking at freaking Havertz and every other attacking player under the sun and go, actually, we're shipping goals.
Yeah,
and it's not.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Though, but like Lampard, it must be so frustrating because he sets his side out, and sometimes they play amazing, and he must think, right, okay, that's the standard, and then they just go and put an inexplicable performance like they did today.
They give it away. Literally, they just give it away. But that's it. I think they know it. I think Chelsea fans know it, and I think they're all sick of seeing it. So I'm going to go with the Chelsea victory here, but I don't think it's going to be as easy as you think. I'm going 4-2.
West Ham United versus Watford.
I had the pleasure and the privilege of watching Michail Antonio hit 4 goals today against a defense that couldn't be bothered to turn up. My God, did he have an easy day at the office today. One of his goals, he struck directly at the goalkeeper, who parried it 4 foot in the air directly at him, and he was able to just head it in.
Yeah.
One of them was a volley off a corner that was flicked on, with no defender even touching him. Another one was a header off a free kick. And the third one was a tap-in, with literally a triangle defender stood around him. I like Antonio. It's great they've got a winger who can play as a striker, but Norwich made him look incredible. Enough of that. West Ham are safe. We talked about this team beforehand. They are way too good to be where they are in the league, but they have the look of a team that could improve next year. And in David Moyes, I genuinely think they have a team that could manager that could make them a bit more tough-nosed. This could be his next Everton, if we're being totally honest. They have the makings of it. They have a leader like Mark Noble that's never going to let his side down. Jared Bowen looked freaking awesome today, and I get it. Like, it's against Norwich. I've just literally talked about how terrible they are, but he's so good going forward. He's always really positive. He's always turning and driving at the defense. In Yarmolenko, they have a certified European and Champions League star that just needs a run of games. Same with Haller. I think it was Eintracht Frankfurt they bought him from, and Frankfurt were in Europe at that point. Really good players, and they just need to gel, and they need a manager to bring them on, and they need to stop making stupid defensive errors in matches. I think they're going to win this match. Watford showed great spirit today, and I'm going to allow you to talk about them because you watched that match. But I just think West Ham are too good to be in the space they are, and hopefully they got a real taste for winning today. And I think that they're going to win this fixture 2-1.
Yeah, I hope that it's not a similar story for West Ham next season. I hope it's not a story where they have a bad run, there's protests against Sullivan and Gould, and that sort of bleeds on to how the team does. Then they start turning on Moyes, and then they're back in the same situation again. I hope that's not the case for them because they're way too good of a squad for that. But yeah, both these sides will be doing a little circle jerk, no doubt, celebrating the fact they both saved themselves from relegation this weekend. What a good week for Watford. 2-1 wins in a row. Beat Norwich, came from behind to beat Norwich, came from behind to beat Newcastle. They were god-awful in the first half, and if Newcastle would have been a little bit more clinical, they could have been 2 or maybe 3-0 up. But second half, they played a lot better. First penalty was a little bit soft. Second one was a stone waller, but Troy Deeney was clutch. Absolutely drilled in both penalties. No messing around. He should have had a hat-trick really in the second half. But great character, great spirit. Not Nuno, just spirit in general, Tom. And I don't think a lot of that's to do with Nigel Pearson. I just think that the players kind of pulled their act together and got a couple of results that they needed to get. I don't think he's really had a great influence on this side. Certainly not since the initial honeymoon when he first came in. They just managed to get the job done. I think this one might peter out to a bit of a draw again. I'm going to go boring and go 1-1.
Everton versus Aston Villa.
Similarly to Bournemouth, it does look like the writing's on the wall for Villa, although we are filming this, as we say, before they play Crystal Palace, which is a absolute must-win game now for Aston Villa. If they have won that game, it takes them to only one win behind the likes of Watford and West Ham again. But if they haven't won it, again, you got to say they're down. There's not too much more to add about Villa. We've talked about how scoring goals has been the real issue for them, and with Grealish being a little bit off the boil, they don't look like scoring too many. Although Everton haven't been great, I can just see them being a little bit too strong. And I think Everton will win 1-0.
So we're at that point of the season now where there's all these teams kind of in the middle of the table that don't have a huge amount to play for. And one week we're like, oh, they're really good, they're going to climb up the table. And the next week we're like, oh, they're really shit, they're doing badly. And that's like Everton to a T. One week they can't be bothered to play a match. The next week they can grind out a result. And I don't know which Everton is going to turn up, honestly, but I just keep going back to look at this team, and you've got Jordan Pickford in goal, which is, like, as much as he makes a random error every 10 games, like, he doesn't let his defenders get away with anything. He's a really good leader. They've got Calvert-Lewin up front, who is obviously, like, growing into his role. They've got Carlo Ancelotti, who is an established Champions League winning manager and player leading this club. And you just have to think that they're slowly getting it together. And they're definitely better defensively than they were under Marco Silva. And they just... I can't look past them in a game like this, especially against an Aston Villa team who essentially are Norwich at this point. Just let them play with the ball in front of you for 20 minutes and then take it from them and go and score the other end. Like, that's all you have to do. You can sit there and smoke a cigarette when they're in possession because you know they're not going to take a shot. It definitely won't be a high-quality one. So, Everton to win this 2-0.
What you're saying, Tom, is enjoy your trip to Everton, Villa fans, because next season you'll be going to either Wickham or the Kassam.
Yes.
Leicester City versus Sheffield United.
So we haven't actually seen Leicester City play yet. They're due to play Bournemouth. I think we both think that'll be a goal. I had 2-0, you had 3-1. Leicester won the corresponding fixture away from home, actually, in Sheffield 2-1 the last time the two sides played. And they seem to have really gotten their act back together. We talked about this already, so I'm not going to harp on about it because we haven't seen their most recent game. But Vardy's scoring goals. Damari Gray's great off the bench. Castor Schmeichel's an incredible goalkeeper. And Brendan Rodgers has created a really good atmosphere at the club, much like he's done at every single club he's been at, including Liverpool when they almost won the title, which is something I think we forget about, was how good a team he was able to put together. He's done it at Celtic. He's a really good leader for a Leicester City side that had a random Premier League win, but were not good enough to win the league, and now are building to be a big Premier League side again. They're getting in bigger players and not relying on a Wes Morgan at centre back. I like the team. I like the manager. Sheffield United are really good. 1-1 draw?
Look at this man. Look at him celebrating. Look at his celebration. But that wasn't for when they beat Chelsea. That was actually, you could be forgiven if you thought it was. That was actually when Oxford won the playoff final against York 10 years ago. Who would have thought Chris Wilder would rise to the heady ranks of stuffing a side like Chelsea by 3-0? Because it's almost unbelievable still. But that is what his Sheffield United side did today. It is another big, huge, massive result for them. A few weeks ago, you just did not see this result come in, and once again, they've kind of, defied everybody and gone on a great run again. I think that's either 2 or 3 wins out of the last 4 games. Puts them right back in the hunt for Europe. Even they still have ambitions of maybe even getting a Champions League spot if all this Man City stuff goes against them. But what a game. I mean, you talked about the possession stats. I mean, Sheffield United only had 20,
24,
30, 25, 26% possession. But it's what you do with it that counts, and they were absolutely well drilled. Certainly was a game plan from Chris Wilder's point of view to just be as effective as you possibly can. The players are buying into it. I'm so happy McGoldrick finally got goals. I think he's been one of the most unlucky players this season. Some of it by his own making, by his garbage finishing, but he generally has been really unlucky. Good for him to get 2 goals finally in the Premier League, and just an amazing result. Well done, Sheffield United fans. Enjoy it. Enjoy this season. Hope it never comes to an end. And I think you're going to win. I think you're going to beat Leicester. I think 2-1 Sheffield United. I'm drinking the Kool-Aid.
Wimpy Arsenal host Liverpool Football Club. And note, I didn't say champions Liverpool. I'm accepting it's happened, but I'm not doing a guard of honor for every match because this stuff is nuts.
Games like this, Tom, I absolutely love. 2 massive thoroughbreds. I can't think of 2 bigger sides personally in the Premier League than Arsenal versus Liverpool. It's always a treat when the 2 biggest sides in the Premier League come together. Arsenal, the Invincibles, against Premier League champions, all-conquering Liverpool. Oh, how good have they been? I hope that every single side gives this side a guard of honour, because they absolutely 100% deserve it. But I'm here to talk about Arsenal. You can talk about Liverpool all you want, and I'm sure you will. This will be a big test for Arteta. This is a huge one. I mean, you talk about the improvements that he's made. You talk about how he's made them stronger at the back. He's made them more disciplined. He's playing with a better style. This is where you need to prove it. And I know it's a Liverpool side that might be going through the motions a little bit, but if Arsenal can get a win here, I think it's a huge encouragement for them going into next season. Although I'm still convinced they don't necessarily need European football, and they might be better off without it. I'm sure they'll end up in the Europa League spot, having to play that annoying Thursday, Sunday every single week. So I am intrigued. It's really hard for me to back the Gunners, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it, Tom. I'm going to do it out of spite, because you didn't back a Liverpool win last week and you got it right. So I can't have that. So I'm backing against Liverpool, and Arsenal are going to beat Liverpool 2-1.
Am I having a stroke? Liverpool are on pace to be the most successful team ever.
Hey, Tom, did they go a season unbeaten?
Good point, Ian.
Call me when they have.
The age-old Arsenal fan. This game is going to be 4-0 to Liverpool. Liverpool today against Burnley, I mean, like, it was set up for a 1-1 draw. This is what Burnley do best. They soak up pressure. They have a great goalkeeper behind the sticks. And as much as Liverpool are ever so slightly going through the motions, and as much as Jurgen Klopp claims he's not doing this for the records, he just wants to see his side play good football, there is no top-level manager that isn't in the dressing room just begging his players to put in the performances and get over 100 points. For this Liverpool side to really be considered like one of the greatest ever, they need to smash City's title points. Like, they have to go over 100 points. They're on 93 points, Ian, now, and they have 3 games to play. They have to win all 3 games now. Or, 2 wins and a draw to tie City's record. But they need those 9 points, and I think they're going to come out here and absolutely feast on the dead carcass that is this Arsenal side. David Luiz is going to have absolute nightmares of this match coming back. He is going to have a train run on him by this Liverpool forward line. It is going to be bad. 4-0 Liverpool. I'm sorry, Arsenal fans. You do look better in the last couple of weeks, but have you watched Liverpool?
Newcastle United versus Tottenham Hotspur.
Jose Mourinho has been in the news a lot recently, talking about how it took Jurgen Klopp like 3 years to win a title with Liverpool, so give him 3 years at Tottenham. What does he need to do? Buy a world-class goalkeeper. What else does he need to do? Buy the best center-back in the world. These are actual quotes coming out by him, and this is why Jose Mourinho remains one of the most entertaining managers in the Premier League. It's like he's deluded, but logically deluded. Like, what he says is technically true. It just is the ravings of a lunatic. This Spurs side, though, are really good. We haven't seen them play yet. They're about to play Arsenal tomorrow, and I think they'll win. You think they'll lose, but you're crazy Arsenal supporter that just said they're going to beat Liverpool. So let's go with that how you will. I'm sure you're going to also say that Spurs will lose to Newcastle, but Spurs will not lose to this god-awful Newcastle side that just somehow lost 2-1 to Watford in a match that, especially in the first half, they could have had 3 or 4 goals and just been clear. But that's not what Newcastle do. Newcastle, much like their close neighbours Sunderland, will always shoot themselves in the foot if the opportunity arises. 3-1 Spurs.
Now, I have to question, whether I'm having a stroke, hearing things like, this is a really good Spurs side. Jose Mourinho has sucked the life out of this team. They are awful.
I didn't say they're a really good side.
They were boring as fuck against Bournemouth. I mean, everybody's been killing Bournemouth, and they couldn't do it.
It happens.
Come on. And that leads me to say, Steve Bruce, he literally has got the motto of the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. And by that I was meaning he was thinking of all the Elton John fans out there that did not want Watford to get relegated. So he very bravely put on a good show in the first half, but then let his Newcastle side step off the gas in order for Watford to take that 2-1 win. But he has no such love for Tottenham Hotspur, no such love for Mourinho. And it is going to be another masterclass performance, much like they did early in the season where they beat Spurs by 1-0. The second coming of Kevin Keegan.
I will love it if we beat them.
Is going to do the same thing here. Newcastle 1, Spurs 0.
Southampton hosts 3 teams from Brighton and Hove and Albion.
There isn't really too much more to say about Southampton other than the fact that they are a really good side and Danny Ings is still banging in goals every single week. They were a little unlucky against Everton. They probably should have won, but came out of it with a 1-1 draw. But, if Danny Ings ends up with a golden boot, which I think he's kind of slipped behind a little bit now, I think he's close, but you'd have to sort of get quite a few goals, I think.
Forward back.
The last, is he forward back? Yeah, okay, it's a shame. So not really too much more to say about them. It's been a good end to the season for them, and I think that they're not that good at home. Bit of a South Coast derby. This one's going to be a draw again for me. 2 each.
Southampton are going to be coming off an absolute drubbing by 2021-2022 Premier League title winners Manchester United as they continue to flex their newfound attacking might. But I want to talk about Brighton and Hove Albion. The Draw Kings haven't drawn a match since they played Leicester in only their second match back. And they've just come out of a 5-0 hiding with Man City. But the truth of the matter is that most teams should be hided by this Man City side. And as much as Man City have failed to deceive at times this season, a lot of that has just been due to the fact that they can't score goals when Aguero isn't playing, because I don't know what's going on, but Jesus is low on confidence. Sterling's gone back to missing open goals. But that's what it is. But Brighton have been hided 5-0, but they still looked good. They still put the effort in. They still had efforts on goal. Matt Ryan has had probably his first bad match in a while. God knows what happened there. But these guys are the draw kings. The season's over for them. They don't need to pick up any more points, but they'll fight till the end. It's a 1-1 draw.
Brighton looked really good in that 5-0 defeat, by the way.
Yes.
Anyway, enough of this pish and nonsense. We've got to the end. But Thomas, watch out! The Eagles are coming! And it's time for the main event.
Oh my God, it's Crystal Palace versus Manchester United.
Who can stop this runaway freight train, which is Manchester United Football Club? I honestly don't know at this point. But here to tell you more about them is our resident expert and Manchester United fan, Thomas Pickering.
I have waxed lyrical about Man United since the restart.
And rightly so.
Right, thank you. It's a change. Normally I just sound like a crazy man who's been,
they've been amazing.
Doing a lot of heroin. But there's no point in me doing that right now. We haven't seen Man United play Southampton recently. That's going on Monday night. And unfortunately, I won't be able to watch that because I will be watching Oxford United in the playoff final against Wycombe Wanderers, which you can follow us live as a follow-along. Yes. So check us out at 7:30 on Monday night, something we should have said at the beginning that only just occurred to me. But back to Man United and the team we're talking about here. They have been nothing short of superb. Two names for you, Pogba and Fernandes. That's all you need to know. That's all you need to hear. This is the driving force behind this Man United side. I feel bad for Crystal Palace. I really like them as a club. I love Roy. I think they're going to beat Aston Villa tomorrow, but unfortunately they're coming up against an immovable object, and they are in fact just a small grain of sand under the foot that is the Red Devils. Man United to win 3-0.
Not much more to add from me. I think Crystal Palace there, they might put on a good performance. I just don't think Man United are going to be able to be controlled. I mean, Villa did okay against them, and it was a bit of a contentious penalty, I must admit. Although personally, I actually thought it should have been a penalty. And after that, Man United just blew them out of the water. It was a sensational second half. The attacking power that they have is just frightening. And I don't think Palace will be able to match them. And I think Palace will score, though. It'll be 1, probably Zaha. But Man United will get 4.
All right, and it's time to say this now. Man United next season, where do you see them coming?
I don't see them relegated.
That is what you come to this channel for, top-level commentary. To me, this Man United side look like the third best team in the country right now. It's hard to overtake a City side that have 70% possession all day long. It's hard to overtake a Liverpool side that if you literally let them counterattack, you've got Salah, Firmino, and Mane literally just triple barreling you down. But outside of those two sides, I don't see a side that can hang with Man United on their day.
Okay, well, we're not going to talk about this anymore because we'll get off topic. But I see them actually, for me, they'd be the 4th best side because I would put probably Arsenal in 1 or 2.
Right, Newcastle in there. Man United clearly 5th in that case.
Newcastle are a solid 5th.
Right, it's time for me to thank everyone who's followed and liked us. Thank you all so much. Thank you all for the support. Shane O'Donnell every week with your match predictions. Thank you so much for that. Grandstand Betters, our beloved partners. Why we haven't mentioned you recently, I don't know. Ian, get on the horn. Speak to our producer. Make sure he's got some graphic coming up right now. Grandstand Betters, where you need to go to get your good football takes. Jack Deaths recently started giving us predictions. Thank you so much. Really enjoy seeing these, reading these. And you have Arsenal winning, so I really don't know what's going through your head here. Robert Allen, as always, thank you for commenting.
Woo!
Roberto Hollis, love that you always give us the goal scorers in these things. And thank you for that. Really appreciate this. Kurt, a new one. A bunch of more predictions. We love it. You only thought West Ham would win 1-0, but then again, none of us thought they'd bang in 4 goals. Also, bad luck, Kurt, with the whole Chelsea keeping a clean sheet. They most certainly did not. Ethan Hawkins, thank you for your predictions. Demas Moha, you said that you're crazy for thinking that Chelsea would lose to Sheffield United. Oosh. Well done, Ethan. Chatburn as well. And that is everyone who liked and commented our video that I can actually see. We can't just see if you like it, we want to see if you comment. But thank you all so much for liking, commenting, subscribing. Please keep filling our house with love. Again, we are going live on Monday night with the League One playoff final between Oxford United and... Yes, Ian, are you getting breaking news?
I'm getting some breaking news from Grandstand Betters, but I can save it for the end.
Oh, good. Right. Just keep that kind of face going. But please come follow us and like us. And for the final note on the night, Ian Allen and Grandstand Betters.
They've just told me they've been literally through the earpiece, which is on this side, but I don't know why I'm talking about that one. They've been through the earpiece and they're doing a special, an absolute special on college NASCAR.
A sport that doesn't exist. And for that note, if you came here looking for detailed football analysis, you probably are in the wrong place.